Let's see. So we are on, let me shut this down. That way I can see you guys a little better. We are looking still at taking and giving. I think we'll have it like 3 more weeks on it, or maybe more. We'll just see how it goes as far as how we feel we're progressing, if we want to linger on one step longer than the other. I felt that self-compassion turned out to merit a lot of um, a lot of investigation. And I hope that you found it um, helpful to do that and looking to see if you had that voice in your head that was hard on you, you know. Um, I basically had been looking, to really try and investigate and see if I did speak harshly to myself. Because I thought I must do that more often than I think. So I was, watching my mind closely. I really don't, you guys. So I'm telling you this because if you do have this harsh critic in your mind, it is not like it has to be this way, and everyone has this harsh critic in your mind. And Missy told me that she does not beat herself up either. Can you believe this? But I'll tell you one thing I noticed. This will just give you an example of what goes on my mind. I said, Missy, you know what I was just thinking? This is the voice in my mind. You're little, 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 and you're cute. There was a dance to it going across the kitchen. It was silent. It was you little, little, little. That was me in there. Just being little and cute and having fun. So I'm only telling you this because there is a journey towards having a kinder narrator in your mind, making that inner witness a friend to yourself rather than someone that's hard on you, you know? Because I think a friend is more beneficial to you, ultimately. Oh, yes, there's a journey towards being an inner friend. Now we are kind of in a similar vein. There's components of self-compassion in this next part where we're moving on to meditate on taking and giving, but with a different object. And that is going to be a group of people who have suffered in a way that you very, very intimately understand. Maybe it's, you know, the way you have suffered the most in this lifetime, right? Maybe it's something that you're suffering with right now. Like if you have that pain and illness, maybe it's all beings that right now are suffering great pain or a certain type of illness or um, whatever it might be. Right. So it could be something happening now that you are acutely aware of the suffering of it, or something that was so painful, right, that you can develop like the deepest compassion towards it and all of its manifestations, right? So I don't know about you, but karma, I'm going to share my slides with you a little bit. Because the reading this week is from Lama Zopa. It's a blog online, but it also comes from a book, which are a collection of letters that he wrote to prison inmates, like back and forth letters. And Lama Zopa is alive still. He is a Tibetan teacher that I really love. I think he's wonderful. And so over the years, he written back and forth correspondence to people in prison, and they've collected it and kind of, put it into subjects. Taking and giving was one subject in this. And so this section is addressed to people in prison. But the way that he's explaining it is similar to what we're going to be doing, where we are meditating on a group who's suffering. Either we want to purify right now, we are wanting to heal that contemporary suffering for ourselves, or that we really, really understand their suffering. So he's telling these prisoners, meditate on the suffering of all people in prison right now. That's how he's addressing it. Okay, so here are some highlights from your reading this week. That's an old picture of a taking and giving yogi from back in the day. And okay, so as you recall, it is taking by means of compassion. We're drawing out the suffering by force of our compassion. We're generating compassion that feels like, I will take it from you. If I could take this, I would take this. I will take this from you. And then giving by means of love. You know, it starts with the compassion side, drawing in the dark smoke, breathing it in, and then eventually taking all of that, the causes away, and breathing, or your heart transforming into a diamond of light and sending your happiness, merit out as love in the form of light. So I want to start with this. He says this: you purify so much negative karma and create so much merit with this meditation, taking and giving. He goes on to say, you generate compassion for all the people who have the karma to be in prison, all the delusions and the karma that caused it. So they're reflecting on what it's like to be in prison, the different manifestations of it, right? You would think, okay, people who are wrongly imprisoned, maybe people, thinking about people on death row that know they're innocent. You know, all the different ways that it's worse than what we're experiencing or similar to what we're experiencing or have experienced in the past. All the different ways, right? I like this part. Even made a little image for it because it was cool. You will purify so many eons of negative karma and defilements. In that second, like an atomic bomb exploding, it all becomes non-existent. So with the right combination of faith that this meditation works, compassion for others, and a sincere wish to take it from them. And kind of like recognizing also the emptiness of all things, right? That this karma doesn't exist from its own side. Without the causes, that karma will disappear. So even if someone has, he gives examples in the book of people who have he's met or have written to him that did this meditation and they had cancer or they had these different, very intense problems curing themselves, in a modern context, right? In our lifetime, curing themselves of things that seem otherwise incurable. And um, and so you can kind of get a sense then that people are trying to do this today, and it is working for people today, and it is possible with the right combination of causes to purify. And that is how it becomes this healing meditation. So I'm going to stop sharing. So we talk about how, lepers originally purified their karma to have leprosy. How does this actually function to purify, right? And the way that it is a healing meditation and the way that it purifies is because it helps us to purify our negative karma that causes something. for us. And you know, I don't know about you, but doesn't it seem like we have the same thing happen in our life over and over until we get the lesson? If you talk to your neighbor, or actually, you could talk to all the neighbors down the street, they're not going to have that same repetitive karma as you do. So, how is it that you have the same thing happen over and over and over in your life? It's just too uncanny, isn't it? Isn't it a bit uncanny how this happens? How does this happen? Like, for example, Missy was, we were over at Missy's aunt, one of her aunts and uncle's house. And, and, you know, her Aunt Dawn was saying, "Oh, this is the dog that is obsessed with toilets." And Missy's like, "No, no, that's not the dog obsessed with toilets. See, my Zoomy, okay, Missy said, this is Joanne's worst nightmare. Okay. The dog, so Zoomy is hot, right? She gets hot. So she goes into bathrooms. Our bathroom is kind of okay. That seems like not as bad, but other people's bathrooms, she lays on the tile and if she's really hot, she like hugs the toilet, like wraps around the disgusting toilet, you know? And Uncle Bob, I mean, he's pretty old. His like aim must be getting worse and worse by the day. You know what I'm saying? I do not like that. So she's saying, "Oh, is this the dog that loves the toilet?" No, no. Actually, no, that is the dog that normally is obsessed, but actually Betty, Betty Butt, my little love child that I now spoon every night. Now she's hugging toilets. You know what? It just must be my own karma. Of all the dogs we have, I get all the toilet huggers, which disgusts me. I get the most grossed out of all of us. Like if I get grossed out, I can't eat. Like you can't talk about gross things with me. I won't like get sick or anything, but if you're talking about gross things, nope, my appetite goes away. I can't eat. I can't think about it. If this toilet hugging had happened before dinner, I don't know. I still spooned her though that night. Oh, yes, I did. Because I love her. I love her more than she's gross to me. But it must be my karma. Yeah, not tree huggers, toilet huggers. That's the karma I have. Okay, I'm purifying something. But you can see in your life there must be something to this. Or we talk about that generational trauma. How is it that you had this experience and then your parent had this experience and then their parent had that experience, right? So we're looking at the deeper causes, which Buddha explained are karmic causes. For every action we ever do, good, positive, or harmful, it plants a seed in the subtle consciousness, like the very subtle mind, which goes from life to life, is implanted with these karmic causes like seeds. And they go life to life until they ripen, and you get a chance to purify it either by experiencing it, having deep regret will help purify it. Promising and being able to not do it again helps to purify it. So there's things you can do to purify. Like you say, I don't want to do that again. I'm not repeating this. And then you don't have to say it in a Buddhist way, right? Anyone can practice this path of purification where you regret what you've done. You see it as like a poison. And then you promise not to do it anymore. And then you do actually stop doing it. And that does help purify it. Maybe purifies it completely. There are these other ways to purify that. So it's kind of like the seed's in there, but the seed becomes unfertile, right? The seed is in there and then it becomes unfertile and then it disappears. It just, but otherwise, every action creates a seed that will eventually ripen in an experience that is similar to the cause. You steal from someone and you will be stolen from in the future, example. Or having a lack of resources, just in general, perhaps that could be another way. Or also having the tendency to steal. Those are another way the karma ripens. But there is this possibility of purifying it, making the seed sterile before it ever has a chance to ripen or to ripen again. So everything that we experience has a karmic cause. Whatever you're experiencing now, you can think is a mirror into past actions.
Gosh.
I know, gosh, that is hardcore, isn't it? I don't know who said it, but I agree. Let me see who might have said such things. And it could be past actions from many lifetimes ago. I mean, as far as Buddhists feel, it could be past actions that you can't even fathom, right? But what's great about this meditation that we're about to do is that we're just simply utilizing the force of our own compassion for people suffering similarly, right? That's what we're using to purify. Compassion is so purifying in and of itself. When you generate compassion for others, it's purifying things in your mind. It's purifying karma. And this is a very concentrated way of doing it, and particularly for those who have suffered like you, or who are suffering the way you are suffering right now. It's quite incredible. I think part of its power is that you can generate such real feelings of compassion because you know that pain, that anguish so intimately. You get a real feeling because it's all feelings, this meditation. You don't have to be a good visualizer, right? You just have to try to feel compassion. And even if feeling it, you can just simply wish it, I wish you didn't have to experience this. I wish no one in this vast universe, I wish no one in this world had to experience this ever. I know how awful it is to experience this, I'm going to just share one last slide with you because Lama Zopa, he says, remember at the very end of his talk on this. And this just summarizes some of the benefits of the meditation and how it functions. So he says, remember, giving and taking. I mean, we call it taking and giving, but whatever you want. Taking, giving, giving. No, it's really taking, giving, we say. But well, no, it actually is both ways. And in Tibetan, it's Tonglen. So there you go. It purifies so much negative karma. It can purify illness. With compassion, take upon yourself the suffering of others. Now, you can really believe that you will take this on yourself. I will take this on. And this is how I think about it when I do it, that I'm willing to take it. I'm willing to take that karma that person is experiencing. And then when I have some suffering, I think, oh, maybe this is a little bit of what I took. And it actually makes me feel better about it, Like, oh, okay. I said I'd take it, and here it is. It's not too bad. Maybe it's a lesser form of what others would have had to experience. You can think about whatever way this feels comfortable to you. This is a safe meditation. It's not like going to hurt you. and mainly it's going to cause you to have less suffering in the future because it's going to be purifying negative karma. So in particular, with compassion, take upon yourself the suffering of everyone in prison. But we are thinking everyone, and your particular situation, everyone in that situation. With love for others, give them all your happiness, all your merits, right? All your good karma. With love for others, give them everything they need. And then finally, the practice of giving and taking causes bodhicitta. This is where we're going with this meditation, isn't it? It's the wish to become someone that can be most effective in taking other suffering away and giving them all happiness, which we think is a Buddha. This is what we call it. I mean, the state of Buddhahood is beyond our understanding, isn't it? It's beyond really, Buddha says beyond thoughts, words, and expression. It's really beyond. But we could at least take Buddha as an example of someone whose wisdom has resonated over, many, many hundreds of years and has actually helped us. Here we are going along on our little commute. Someone wrote me yesterday and they couldn't find one podcast episode, number 48. And he's like, yeah, I'm a long haul truck driver. So I drive like 12 hours a day, and your podcast is my latest obsession. I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. It'd be anybody's latest obsession. Makes me so happy. Here is this truck driver going cross country, obsessed with Buddhist teachings. I mean, isn't this amazing, honestly? And maybe, when you become a Buddha, 2000 plus years into the future from that life, you attain it. Somebody's going to be driving along, obsessed with your teachings. I'm just obsessed with Vera's teachings. I am obsessed. It's my newest obsession. I think this is amazing, right? It's not me. My podcast is, Buddha's podcast, honestly. And it's his teachings that, are helping people. So even just from that example, I feel bodhicitta makes sense. Because bodhicitta is the wish to become an enlightened being like Buddha for the sake of all beings. Because if we rise to the top of our potential, we have the most capacity to help others. And you can even, if this seems like too much, let me find a way out of here. Second. Even if you think, okay, well, if I lessen my, let's say, anger, if I lessen my anger and irritation, just let's say 50%, my tendency, how much more happiness do you give the people around you in your life? Or let's say you became really, really patient, immovably patient, which I really want to do in this life. I'm working on it, you guys. I'm really improving too, must say. But I got, a ways to go, but I'm working on it. But when I get there, think about how much more happiness everyone around me will experience as a result of this patient mind that enjoys everything that arises. That when Missy gets mad at me, I just chuckle. I mean, in a cute way, hopefully. Which I can do sometimes, but not every time, but I'm working on it, right? Like I laugh when she's road raging. I'm so good at that. That is hilarious. Because he just doesn't seem personal. But it's not personal even when it's about me, really. Technically. So I wish I could always chuckle. I mean, sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. But one day I will welcome everything. And from that day forward, Everyone who's around me will benefit from that good quality cultivation. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a real thing that helps others. This cultivation of your mind. It really impacts others. And the closer those beings are to you, the more it impacts them, the more it helps them. I remember a teacher once said, she gave the analogy of like tiles. When you lift tiles up, I don't know if any of you have done this when you're changing flooring out, but you lift one tile up and more tiles come up with it. So they're all coming up, right? It's like that. We lift ourselves up, and then those closest to us are children, parents, partner, dogs, cats, fish, birds. We lift them all up. They get lifted up a lot with us. We lift them up by our spiritual training. So let's try this meditation and, focus on either some kind of karma that you've experienced in this lifetime, something you deeply suffered from, like the greatest suffering of your life, perhaps, right? Or something that you're experiencing right now that is great suffering. Because you want to find the thing that is going to move your mind to the deepest and most real feelings of compassion because you understand that suffering. So pick what that is. If you've experienced whatever it might be, you are an expert on what that feels like. And then try to feel like you actually will take that stuff. I want to take that from them. And so all these beings that experience this, they're just in a vast assembly in the space in front of you. And you start thinking about all the ways these living beings suffer. Like he suggested these people in prison. So they might be thinking, and he suggested, think about the suffering of the place of prison, like having to hug those toilets would really not be good, you know? Ooh. Or just using those toilets or using them in front of others. Oh my God. This all would be bad. Bad. So they're thinking about all these little things. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was in prison and meditating on this, I'd definitely be thinking about those sufferings. The toilet, the lack of privacy. I mean, there's probably the smells. I don't know if you've read a lot of this. It doesn't smell good. Smells bad. And much, much worse things like violence and, they're thinking of actual things. And they're breathing it in, and you start to, after dwelling in thoughts of compassion, you start to see dark smoke or imagine, feel that dark smoke leaves the nostrils of all those living beings, leaves as dark smoke, and you start to breathe it in through your nostrils. And then it coils around the lump of coal that's encrusting your very subtle mind. This big lump of coal. Like Santa put in the naughty kids thing year after year. Big lump of coal. And then you look inside. Oh no. But now we're transforming it. So it creates so much pressure. These billowing dark clouds. The force of our compassion is making them swirl and create all this pressure. These billowing clouds of negative karma. And then you imagine that in a great explosion, like that atomic bomb that Geshe Zopa talked about, like bam, it implodes. And that big lump of coal becomes this beautiful diamond, purified of radiant light. And you imagine your very subtle mind is purified and you become an enlightened being. Your whole body fills with this light coming from your pure mind. You're completely purified. And then you've taken all the suffering of those beings away, the space in front of you, and now you send out every cause of happiness to them. Every cause in the form of infinite rays of light leaving your body. And we're also going to include all beings, because we always want to end on all living beings. So you send out infinite rays of light to all beings, right? First, you purify all the people who suffered like you, and you think, I give them, we're going to spend a little time on this more than we have in the past. And you think they need, in the case of prisoners, okay, they now have their freedom. They have reunion with their family. They have a wonderful job they feel so happy with. They have security. They have, whatever it is, that these living beings would benefit from, you give them from your heart, everything, everything. Right? And finally, you give all living beings the causes of enlightenment. Imagine all beings everywhere become filled with light, and you're at the end of the Matrix movie. Oh my God, we're all free. And you imagine you just see this infinite assembly of light beings, all enlightened, peaceful everywhere. All right, shall we try this? Okay. So get into a nice posture for meditating. You want to have a nice straight back, but relaxed and comfortable. And you can put your hands in the mudra of concentration if you wish, just like this. Your eyes are closed. Breathe through your nostrils. Breathe deeply but naturally from your diaphragm. Breathe and come into the present moment. Begin by choosing what group of living beings you want to do this practice for, whose suffering you wish to take away. And visualize them in the space in front of you. All the living beings suffering in this way, in a vast assembly, all facing you. Begin to contemplate the different ways they suffer from this that you have experienced. And as you're contemplating this suffering, try and feel, I wish I could take it away. I would take this from you. This feeling of compassion. So please spend a few minutes contemplating with compassion the many ways beings suffer from this affliction. As you breathe in, imagine breathing in is the wish to take it away. Every in-breath is the wish to relieve that suffering that you're contemplating. The in-breath is the feeling of the force of your compassion, the wish drawing their suffering away. Imagine the suffering of these living beings start to leave their nostrils in the form of dark smoke. It's all the causes, the karmic causes, the delusions cause it, whatever the cause is, and the feelings of suffering, experiences, actually begin to leave them. The next 2 minutes, continue to contemplate the different ways these living beings suffer and breathe it in. Breathe in the causes. Breathe in the karma, the delusions, the pain of this. All these beings breathe in the last of their dark smoke, like billowing clouds of darkness. Breathe the rest of it away. Now imagine the force of your compassion causes that dark smoke to swirl around a lump of coal at your heart, encrusting your very subtle mind. That coal is self-cherishing and ignorance. Dark smoke concentrates, swirling around the temporary afflictions, selfishness, and ignorance. Next few moments, imagine, visualize, or feel this incredible implosion. All that karma is purified, and the lump of coal turns into a radiant diamond of light. Please visualize or feel this instant of incredible, immeasurable purification. Your very subtle mind is now purified and appears as a diamond, a fist-sized diamond. It radiates light. Center of your chest. Imagine that light begins to radiate from that diamond, and you send it out, those wishes you send from your heart to those beings whose suffering you've taken away. Give them all the things they need to be at ease and happy. Whether it's food or shelter or love, family. Send those wishes out as light now, thinking about what you're giving them. The next minute, continue to think about what would bring them happiness. What would be the salve that would soothe the sufferings that you previously contemplated? And send it to them. Now imagine you become aware of all living beings, an assembly as vast as space. Send out infinite rays of light from every pore in your body, giving all beings, including those who suffered like you, all the causes of awakening and lasting happiness. Pour forth infinite light now. Imagine all beings everywhere are filled with light, and they attain enlightenment. Just enjoy this peacefulness everywhere. And allow any visualizations to fade from your mind. Come aware of the room around you again. Slowly arise from your meditation. So we can imagine in the space in front of us, Turindu's father, Aunt Jude and Uncle Leonard, Nana Sue, and we can imagine descending from the heavens is this being of brilliant white light, Buddha of compassion. And he comes to just above the crown of the heads of those living beings we love that just passed. He draws their very subtle mind like a seed of white light. He draws their minds into his heart. And then he ascends back into the heavens and disappears. We can just believe and pray they are reborn in this pure land, this Buddha heaven. We honor their lives. Turindu's father's life, many great deeds, caring for his community. Uncle Jude and Leonard and Nana Sue, loving and caring for their family, working so hard. We pray for their fortunate rebirth. And peace in their families, comfort to their families. We also dedicate the good karma we've created to Marge, Joanne's friend, to Elaine for her freedom from pain and healing, and for all of you, all of us, whatever you're going through. We pray for your peace, healing, happiness. We dedicate to our own enlightenment for the sake of all living beings. And ultimately, we dedicate the good karma we created to the enlightenment of every living being without any exception. Thank you.
When the world cries in sorrow, be the stillness into